So I've been buying glasses for literally 30 years, and it turns out I still have no idea how to pick them. Even these glasses here, these were my glasses. I bought them when I had a nice paycheck. Eventually, I was like, this is my face. I'm gonna really put some money out on these, and I'm gonna really spend some money on some frames. These frames, made in France, very, very fancy. I've had them for like 5 years. I thought they were the peak you could get in eyewear, and then Troy took one look at them and said,
we can do better. They're not bad. We can do better.
His words were a little more aggressive than that. This is Nick, by the way. Stridewise.com is the YouTube channel and website where I look at like high-end casual clothing for guys. A lot of boots, a lot of nice denim, that kind of stuff. Troy occasionally co-hosts on the channel because he is an expert at like the luxury side of menswear. Really into watches. He's worked in the industry before, but his real specialty is eyewear.
Luxury eyewear. Yes, sir.
Luxury eyewear. So we are here in Midtown Manhattan at Zeitlin Optic.
Yes, we've been here for 35 years now. It was originally started by Mark Zeitlin, one of the sort of great old Manhattan opticians in the city here.
So obviously this is like a small independent eyewear store. Tell me why I shouldn't just go and get some glasses at Warby Parker for $90.
Sure. So the real way to understand eyewear from the ground up is I kind of like to break it down into 3 categories. Luxury eyewear, which is what we specialize in. These are all going to be very high-end, independent companies that make their own frames. Many of them are going to be made in Japan. A few made in Germany or Luxembourg, sometimes made in France. But companies that really specialize in making eyewear. Then you have what I would describe as fashion or licensed eyewear. This is going to be your Chanels and your Pradas and your fashion brands, right? You're buying a name, but not necessarily the quality of product that goes along with that fashion house, right? It's all made by a separate company, usually a larger company. Then you have your value or your budget eyewear. This is everything from your Costco and Walmart kind of stuff to, your Warby Parkers and the things of that nature. So really at the end of the day, you can say you get what you pay for, but that's not always true. Sometimes the fashion frames can be really, really expensive. So when people come to us, they're looking for frames that are extremely well made, that are fitted perfectly to their head, that fit their features, and also really suit their prescription needs, because eyewear is sort of half fashion accessory and half medical device. So there's a lot of little things that kind of go into that, and it can be really difficult to know what to look for, to know how to fit yourself with frames, or know if you go to a shop, do they know what they're doing, right? Are you dealing with opticians or are you dealing with stylists?
Troy is going to walk me through my first pair of really nice glasses. It's taken me a really long time to do this. Fortunately, I just lost my pair of tortoiseshell Warby Parker glasses, which wasn't a big loss because they cost me $90.
So long.
And I'm willing to spend a bit more because the fact is, it's your face, it's your moneymaker. This is like it's the most important part of your body. It's okay to spend a bit of extra money. But I understand, especially for guys out there who tend to be more into function than into fanciness.
Absolutely.
Why does it cost extra?
Sure.
And is it worth it?
The main thing that you're going to be looking at when you're looking at high-end eyewear is a lot of people will look at a frame like what I'm wearing and say, oh, that's just another plastic frame, right? And as it actually turns out, the materials that are used mostly in high-end Japanese frames and the like are not going to be an injection molded plastic or petroleum-based plastic. They're going to be made out of xyl acetates. And the difference in terms of the function is that frame is going to be much more comfortable over time. It's going to maintain its adjustment, right? So we've all had that experience where you take your glasses off and all of a sudden they're bowed out, or they're not fitting you right, or they're falling off your face. You just got them adjusted and they're still falling off again, right? Really high-end, high-quality frames are easy to adjust, maintain their adjustments, are comfortable for the entire life in the frame. That's something a lot of people don't think about. I
never realized that glasses get worn out.
Yeah.
But they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of folks think, oh, my prescription changed, I need to buy a completely new frame. Well, if you're buying something that's really well made, you don't. You can update those lenses, or if you want to add to your wardrobe and have a little bit of a different vibe, then you can.
All right, so there's the materials.
Yep.
There's also the construction can be higher quality?
Absolutely.
How does that work?
So, I'll start actually using some frames. So when you look at a piece like this is a sunglass from a company called Jacques Marie Mage. It's a company based out of LA, made in Japan, really, really beautifully constructed pieces.
With a very French name.
Very French name after their designer. So literally the way that a frame like this is built is it's actually a large chunk of xyl, like a brick of xyl. If you imagine a brick of tortoiseshell looking looking material that the frame is cut from, right? So as opposed to less expensive frames, you have a mold, and plastic is, very hot plastic is shot into that mold through injection molding, and then it kind of forms. And that material itself is much more brittle, it's a lot stiffer, it's not going to age very well, it's gonna get dry and sort of like white and cloudy, right? And eventually just break, it's gonna snap.
Is there also like an element to the hardware, like the metals in there,
Oh,
the springs
yeah.
and stuff, they're better too?
Absolutely. So by and large, most luxury eyewear, not all, but most, you're not gonna see basic spring hinges on there, right? Most of the sort of lower end product that you see has a spring hinge because the material, the frame, is stiff and isn't gonna be flexible on its own, right? So the quality of the hinges, the quality of the nose pads, the hardware, the number one thing I hear all the time when people come in is, I can't buy expensive eyeglasses because I break my glasses all the time. And odds are the reason that you're breaking your glasses all the time is because they are very low quality and brittle and cheap to begin with. Not necessarily inexpensive, but cheap nevertheless.
One thing I didn't realize, and actually none of the stuff I realized, I didn't realize that like the material was important, or that the construction can differ.
So that there was a difference in the first place, yeah.
And I've been wearing glasses again my entire life. But what really struck me was that even though I have a nice pair, I thought it was a nice pair of glasses. These cost like about $600.
Yeah, and they're good quality.
A big deal.
Sure.
But Troy was like, "Look, man, I'm sorry to tell you, but whenever you wear these glasses, all I can think about is that your eyes aren't in quite the right position for them. Like, in addition to having good materials and good construction, you also need an expert to tell you, like, if it's just the right frame for your face. You can love the design, you can love materials,
Sure.
but if your eyes are just in the wrong spot of the lens, it's all wrong. Can you talk about that? Like, where is my eye meant to be?
Yeah, so when it comes to the fit aspect of a frame, a lot of people are gonna talk about, in general, if you have a round face, you shouldn't wear round frames. You have a square face, you shouldn't wear square frames. Honestly, I've been in eyewear for 15 years, and I don't pay attention to any of those rules. I think those are rules of thumb for people who don't really know what they're talking about necessarily.
If I title this video "How to Pick Glasses for Your Face Shape," it'll get a lot more views, though. Can you pretend it's important?
But it's not. It's completely fucking wrong. And the reason that I hate that thing so much is because people end up going into it going, I can only wear square frames, I can only wear round frames, and that is a fundamentally wrong way to go about it. Rather than saying, one face shape can't wear this or can't wear that, it's more nuanced than that. I like to look at where is someone's eye in the lens. We want to try to get that eye as centered in the lens as possible. How does the frame follow the trace of the shape of your brow line, and how does it follow the shape of your cheekbones? That's a much better way to go about it than, I have a round face, I can't wear anything round.
So you factor in, you're more interested in factoring in even the strength of prescription.
Yep, that's a huge part of it.
Where the eye winds up on the lens, and how it factors into
and how it actually suits your features, your facial features.
And your features in general, and then eventually maybe the shape of the face might play a bit of a factor.
Yeah.
But it's these other stuff's more important.
Yeah.
When I wear my glasses, you said when we've been trying glasses, Troy says the problem with my face is that my eyes wind up too
it's not the problem, but one of the things that can be challenging with fitting you is that your eyes are a little bit higher centered on where your bridge is at, right? Now, because you have a relatively light prescription, that's not a huge problem. If you had a really heavy prescription, the more off center your eyes get, the thicker your lenses are gonna be. This is something that a lot of people don't realize. But, for someone like you, your eyes are gonna be really high centered in a frame like this, which you can get away with it, but it's not as good as it could be.
All right, so we wanna find some lenses that A, I like, and B, don't put my eyes at the top and to the side. We want them as close to the middle as we can get.
Yeah, we want to try to aim for the center of the frame. Also, finding some temples that are long enough for you, right? Because these are actually almost too short to even hook around your ears. They bow out a little bit to kind of hug to compensate for that, but the temple isn't quite long enough. So again, they're fine, but we can do better.
All right, well, let's try some frames.
All right. When you go into an eyewear store and you want to find a pair of glasses, the things that can help your optician to really, fit you better is to come in with an idea of a style that you like, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have that exact frame. If you see something that a celebrity's wearing, or you see a piece out in public, you get an idea that, oh, I really like this look, right? And then your optician can try to find a way of doing that look that fits your features and also fits your prescription needs, because that is a very big aspect of it, right? All right, so we're gonna start out with something that is very kind of classic, slightly vintagey, but just a very, very clean, understated piece. It's similar in styling to things that I know you've worn in the past.
Yeah, these are identical to my Warby Parker ones that I lost, actually. Well, to me, they're identical.
In terms of style.
Let's find out why they're
So this company is called Masanaga. This is a classic Japanese eyewear manufacturer. Again, in addition to the quality, which when you try on a frame like this, you immediately can feel the difference. There's a sort of a heft to it that feels more sturdy than less expensive pieces. But again, with a piece like this, it's very classic, it's understated. Your eye's a little bit higher centered in here than I would love it to be, but it's a pretty good fit. Again, that temple length is, a little bit longer and is actually hooking around your ear, which is gonna be more comfortable. But I know from our conversations in the past that you want something that is a little bit more bold, a little more statement-y than something like this, right? And this is a part of the process. You should go in and be willing to try on a few different things, try out some styles that you might not necessarily imagine yourself wearing, right? And you might be surprised. So from here, we can go to something that is, very understated, a little bit more modern, right? Okay. In a titanium piece like this. This is a company called Bevel. Again, very lightweight. Now, what's nice about this is it has nose pads, so we can really play with vertically where your eyes are at. So again, something like this, if you wanted something that is very clean, very understated, a little bit more modern, this is a great way to go. And be a little bit
closer to the middle in this.
See that?
It's a very exciting world that you're opening me up to. I've always just kind of grabbed whatever off of the shelf.
It's a whole new animal.
And you probably have too, viewer.
So
let's try something else.
We're gonna go something a little bit more bold here, right?
All right.
So these
are sort of similar to my other ones, but they're rounder.
Yep. Yeah. So this is a play on that kind of P3 classic round shape that we started with, but it's much more chunky. It's much more modern. Again, because of this bridge fit, your eye is in a nice spot. The temple's long enough. This gives you a much more sort of bold look. And again, the things that I look at, I don't necessarily look at your general face shape. I look at how does the frame suit your features, right? So the brow line here matches what your natural brow line is. The shape of this frame comes right along where your cheekbone is. You want to have a frame that doesn't just sit on your face. You want the frame to actually frame your features, right? That's kind of where the word frame comes from.
So you think this looks good on my face?
I think this looks awesome.
You think it balances out my giant forehead and little nose?
You don't have a giant forehead. You're so mean to yourself. You're so mean to yourself. And again, this can be an uncomfortable process, right? Because we're coming in, you're looking very detailed at your face, right? You have somebody else analyzing all of your features. You're thinking about all your insecurities. It can be a challenging process, and that's entirely okay. Again, that's why it's good to have an optician that you work with who knows you, and you can really have those honest conversations about the fit and about your style and about those sort of needs, right?
All right. Yeah, no, I like these. It's like similar to the ones I had before, but like more subtle, but not too subtle, and it's rounder, so it's different.
A little bit more bold.
All right. How do I know how to find this?
Right. How do you even go about finding a good shop to go to? Right.
Yeah. It's your face.
Yep.
For God's sake, it's your face. This is where you should focus the most effort
It's
possible.
worth investing in it, yes.
Even if you don't care about anything else that you wear, like really put some effort into your look. Your face deserves the best you can do, right?
Yep. I generally recommend, if you're somewhere that isn't Manhattan, if you're in Manhattan, come see us. If you're not, then Google opticians in your area, right? Look for shops that are, independently owned, small opticals, boutique opticals, i.e. not chain stores, right? Looking at some of their reviews. If you see positive reviews, that's a good sign. Take a look at their website. If they see, if you see a bunch of frame companies that are, that are eyewear manufacturers, maybe some frames brands you don't know, that's a good sign. If you see the usual suspects, the fashion brands, the Ray-Bans and all that kind of stuff, generally you're gonna not necessarily find the highest quality stuff there necessarily. To
be perfectly candid as well, if you see a Japanese name on there, pretty good chance.
By and large, it's certainly there's great eyewear that are made in a number of different countries, but like generally Japanese eyewear is considered to be the highest quality eyewear that money can buy.
Yeah, if there's one Japanese name on there, chances are they know what they're doing. That's an easy
absolutely. That's a good rule of thumb.
All right, well, thank you, Troy Barmer of Zeitlin Optic, Midtown Manhattan.
My pleasure.
This is 42nd, isn't it?
This is 52nd Street.
52nd.
Yes.
So basically the same.
Close enough.
All right,
Midtown.
come by if you're in Manhattan. Their website's down below if you want to check them out. But shop local, shop independent.
And have fun with your eyewear, guys. You know, it's really it's the only accessory that's on your face. It's the most expressive accessory that you can play with.
Yeah.
It's worth investing in it. It's worth enjoying and having fun with it.
And there's a good chance there's you haven't, if you're like me, I care a bit about the clothes and shoes I wear.
Yeah.
And I had never thought of all
Yeah.
of these ways of looking at eyewear. So this is an important thing, and I hope you learned something. All right, that's it. Bye. Subscribe if you
Bye.
signed up here. Goodbye. Bye-bye.